Hi everyone, my name is Declan McGlynn and welcome to another plugin of the week. We are sat in our hub, well, our students behind me, in our second London facility. And if you want to come and check this place out, we do tours every Wednesday at 5:30, that's today, right? Yeah. And Saturdays at 12:30. And if you want to book yourself in to come and check it out and all of our amazing equipment and meet some of our amazing staff, you can do that by going to our website, pointblankmusicschool.com, and hit the Contact Us button to book yourself on a tour. Today, we are looking at something quite complicated. Well, complicated to me, maybe not all of you. It's called Modular by Softube. And so, you might know Softube for making mixing plugins. I think they have a drum machine as well called Heartbeat, which is kind of incorporated in here. But before I show you any of this stuff, Modular is slightly different because instead of trying to take what the best thing about modulars are, put them in a new GUI or a new software like Reactor does or like Circle does or even Massive do, it just literally just emulates modular synths to the point that they've licensed their modules from Dopefer and other Eurorack companies. This is what it looks like. It's 99 euros. When you buy it, you get a couple of modules. You get some Dopefer stuff, some classic stuff. Anybody who uses Eurorack will probably recognize this interface. And we'll take a look at that in a second. So you get all these modules with it, but it's completely unforgiving. There's no simple way to do it. If you don't know how modular synthesis works, you don't know how modular works. And that can be a blessing and a curse, as we'll find out in a second. The awesome thing about it is that makes it really good for learning. So if you're keen to get into modular synth but don't want to drop 800, 900 quid on a simple modular synth, this is perfect for that. So when you buy it, you get a couple of Softube utility plugs, but you can also buy other licensed modules from IntelliGel, which is a pretty famous Eurorack company, like this one, and they're like another $50. So by the time you spend 150 quid, you get quite a lot of stuff. So the plugin itself, when you open it, looks like, I'll just open a very basic one first before we get to that one. So the way I'm going to show you how it works, I've made three different things. One's a drum machine, one's a very basic kind of subtractive single oscillator synth, and then one I call Madness, which I'll show you why in a second. So we'll start with the basic synth. So you open it up. Let's turn this off. We don't need an arpeggiator for this. So you kind of get a very simple view here. Again, very recognizable, Dopefer, grey, Eurorack style modules. When you hover over, you can see what's been patched. So let's just press play on this. Can you hear that? All right, let's turn that art back on. There we go. So again, not very exciting. Just a single oscillator synth being triggered from this sequencer. You can just play with some of the pitch. I mean, this would mean nothing if it didn't sound good, and it's very, very clean. Just let me just show you what a single oscillator looks like. So yeah, you can see harmonics are very clean, just a straight up saw wave. You can change the pitch and patch things together. And yeah, we'll get to how all of this works in a second. This isn't going to be a tutorial on modular synthesis because that would take much too long. This is kind of just like an outline of how this particular plugin works and why it's pretty cool. So let me just maybe start from scratch. Let's start this one. So here's an empty module. So when you load it, it looks like this. There's a button here that looks a lot like DX7. Don't know if that's intentional, but I like it. Module add or edit. So we just click on add and you get all the list of modules that are available. So Dopefer, of course, very recognizable. IntelliGel, as I said already. They won't be there unless you bought them. Heartbeat, which is Softube's drum machine. And they've taken each individual kick, snare, rim, kind of like the tip-top stuff, and put it in so you can have individual sounds, make your own drum machine from scratch, and then some DAW interfacing, some mixer stuff. So if you wanted to start, we'll just quickly add, say I got an oscillator, got a filter, voltage-controlled amplifier, an envelope, and that's enough to get started. The only thing we need is something that will send a message from, in this case, Logic, into Softube. So we need a MIDI to CV converter. So I like to work backwards when I'm patching stuff in modular synths, which sounds a bit weird, but that's just the way my brain works. And so what we need to do is the VCA gets patched to the main output, which you just click and drag. See, all the available options are green. In this case, we just want to patch it into the main output. What we need to do next is get the oscillator a pitch. So we'll send note data to the CV1, which is in this module, the pitch input. We need a gate to go to the envelope, so we can shake the sound and it'll tell it when to retrigger. Same as trigger, so retrigger there. What else do we need? So that should be everything for that. Oscillator output, so you get 4 wave shapes, gonna go into the filter, and then you've got a couple of different slopes on your low pass and a band pass as well. Let's just go for the classic 12 slope low pass filter, put it into the VCA, and if we trigger it with something, in Logic we can use, there we go. So it's got a constant tone because we need to turn the CV up on the envelope, and then we just turn that down on the VCA and turn the CV up. Oh yeah, the envelope. So the final step is the envelope has to modulate the VCA. Again, if this is confusing you, that's just because modular synthesis can be a little bit confusing at first. I'm not a modular synthesis expert, hence my trepidations here. But hopefully we'll now get a single oscillator. There we go. So very simple stuff. Filter going, emphasis is resonance, just turn that down a little bit. And then you get the usual ADSR. So the shorter so yeah, again, there you go. Very simple, straightforward. Like I was saying before, it's a bit of a blessing and a curse that if you don't, there's no helps, there's no infos. I mean, there's a manual, but it's not going to do any shortcuts for you, which makes it an amazing tool to learn how modular synthesis works. So there you go, a very simple single oscillator synth. So let's have a look at something a bit more interesting. I had to prepare some of this earlier because it does take some time. Let's go into Madness. Let me meet these ones. So this is one that I think one of the best things about modular synth is just patching things in and just see what happens. I had to put a limiter on this one just in case it goes a bit mental. So what have I got here? Quite a lot of patches going on. So these colored lines represent each individual patch. It's quite good the way that they don't interfere with the interface too much, but you can still see what's going on. So I've got one oscillator here, another oscillator here, third oscillator, all going into a mixer. And let's just press play. And I've just turned down all the volume on the mixer and then press play and bring everything in one by one. So this is being sequenced by this sequencer in here. Again, if you click on add, I'll just turn that off. You can see you get 4 different types of sequencers. One's for drums, which we'll get to in a sec. 16 steps, 8 steps, and a little penta sequencer, which is like a circular one. So in that case, I've used this one. Change the pitch by using this. Turn notes on and off. Increase the steps. So you can bring it down to just 2. You can see it go back and forth, make it 3. So yeah, it's a hit. I like it. So I'm gonna move on to just start bringing in another sound. So let me just show you what that was first. That is just a straight up saw wave. Let's start bringing a square wave. And the reason it's gone a bit mental is because I've sent the pulse width has been modulated by the output of the other oscillator. Let's give this a bit of a frequency modulated sound. It's starting to get a bit crazy. So now the third sound is a sub-oscillator, but as all the waves come together, they start to modulate each other as they fight for velocity. And then the fourth one starts to dominate the whole thing. It's just a single tri wave from the same oscillator. And this oscillator is amazing. You can do really crazy stuff. Kind of like that classic modular synth sound. As you can hear, it's pretty intense, hence putting the limiter on there. Again, if you look at the really clean harmonics, no muddiness in there. Let me just turn off some of the original oscillators. You can hear So again, that's what the tri-wave sounds like. Let's turn that off. That's just a straight up saw sub. Maybe it's a square sub. And then they're all going into this filter. And again, they're all being modulated. Just turn some of these down. And again, just start playing with it. Yeah, you get the idea. Pretty cool. So if you just take these two back out again, and then if you're thinking, oh, I've created quite a cool texture or a cool sound, but it's a bit disharmonic, how am I going to use this in a track? Let's make a controller from the keyboard or your MIDI keyboard instead of the sequencer. So if I click on add, you can just, like you were doing before, MIDI to CV, and use the note data. So the CV in this case, the CV output is going to the frequencies of all the modules. So I'm just going to get rid of that. You click on it, drag back, and you can just get rid of all the inputs. I'm just going to take them all away. Is that all of them? No, so the input here as well. So you press play. They're just triggering themselves because of the pulse width. Let's just get rid of all of this. Still this way. Okay, so let's use the note data instead. CV1, CV in here. And finally, where is that other oscillator? There we go. Press up OK, and just turn up the volume. And we should get some sound. No, there you go. That's what I'm saying about this plugin. If one thing is patched wrong, you don't get any sound, just like the real thing. And yeah, but that's the blessing and the curse about Modular Synth. You know, it's a great tool for teaching. I just want to show you one final thing, which is the drum modules. Very simple again. Let's show you some patching here, not too much going on. There's a beat sequencer that goes, we got the kick drum, got the clap, hi-hat, and the percussion module as well. All going into a mixer, and then there's the clock, which sends it a sequence from your data so it stays in time, which goes into the clock sequencer, press play, and it's pretty straightforward really. We can just turn that up so you guys can hear it a bit. And you get all the usual decay sounds. I'll just turn so you can hear them all individually. Sound really cool. If you're familiar with Heartbeat, you'll know these sounds already. So attack type, give it a bit of a bend. Obviously that looks a bit like an R9 interface, so that's probably what they're modeling there. And clap, you got two different types of clap there. You can see their sequence down here, so you can press two more. There you go. And hi-hat, again. Let's turn the module up. Two different types of sound, synthesis and sample, and then some percussion as well, which I've just made a really simple pattern with that. So there you go. That is Softube Modular. Very complex, just like the real thing. And that's kind of why I like it. If you want to get the freedom of modular, but you're not that interested in the science behind modular synthesis, it probably isn't for you. One of the really cool things about it is if you already own a modular synth and you want to try out some patches with some modules you don't own, for example, multiple BCFs or multiple oscillators, and you're not sure if you want to go purchase it or not. This is a really cool way to find out if it works for you. Another awesome thing, if you have a DC coupled interface, you can actually link this up with your actual Eurorack module by sending a CV out of your sound card. So there's a couple of AUXs to do that on right there. There's also multiple outputs for your DAW if you want to effect things separately. And you can even buy the hardware directly from the software. So it's a very, they're not trying to steal any attention away from the hardware. This is very much a collaboration. So it's kind of, it's no like hardware versus software. It's just, this is kind of a tool for you to experiment in, and then if you want, go and buy the real thing. If you don't, you can stick in the software realm. So I think it's pretty affordable for $99, and that's about it. Make sure you go and play with that one. I think there's a demo as well you can get, so no excuses. And if you want to come, again, if you want to come and check this place out, and have a look at our SSL and how amazing you. We got some Pioneer Tour stuff recently, so you got to come and check that out. You can come on a tour every Wednesday at 5:30 and Saturdays at 12:30. Just visit our website, pointblankmusicschool.com, and hit contact us to come and see this place for yourself. We'll be back soon. I think we're back on Friday with another FFL, so we'll see you then. Cheers.